Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever and whenever you are listening to today's pre-recorded webinar featuring the National Parks by Rail with Amtrak Vacations. My name is Jim Marini and so excited to have each and every one of you joining us here today. Folks, we got lots to cover and really appreciate you taking the time to view today's webinar. We're going to talk about important things to know about traveling by train, popular destinations to consider for your next rail vacation, as well as routing your vacation from your hometown. Now, for those of you who may not be as familiar with Amtrak Vacations, we are part of the Yankee Leisure Group family of brands. So on the left-hand side of your screen, that is all of our USA rail vacations. Trips anywhere from 3, 4, 5 days long, 1 and 2 weeks long, across country, as well as the national parks. And if you look on the right-hand side, Rail Bookers, this is our international worldwide rail vacation brand. This is all of our trips throughout Canada, Europe, and around the world, and even including in Alaska by rail. And here's the best part. Any of you who want to just get out of your houses, you can literally travel from today. Yes, today, whenever you are listening to today's on-demand pre-recorded webinar, you can literally depart today or plan your trip today to travel in the next 1 to 2 years, all the way out to 2023. Now, there's so many reasons why travelers love traveling with Amtrak Vacations. If you look at the top left-hand corner, when you book and plan your trip, or your travel advisor plans your trip for you, he or she is speaking to one of our rail experts who know the rail, the best routes, the best times. As I mentioned, again, you can book and travel from today all the way through 2023. Now, we do have our maximum flexibility offer going on right now, which I'll tell you a little bit more about in just a bit. We also have the largest rail vacation selection, not only here in the United States, but around the world between Amtrak Vacations and our sister brand Rail Bookers. And no rail trip is too complicated for us. In fact, any trip, as you'll hear about today, can be customized and personalized just the way you would like it. And speaking of that, what options are available with Amtrak Vacations? Well, for any of you that may want to visit family and friends in other parts of the United States, or visit any other additional cities or destinations, you can add on any destination to any of our trips. You can add an extra night if you look right there in the middle of your screen at the top, okay? You can add additional nights. You can also take out nights if you are trying to stay within a certain amount of days or a price point. If any of you do not like to fly or you don't feel like driving, did you know there's over 500 Amtrak train stations throughout the United States that you can start and end your trip at? So any trip can be round trip right from your local Amtrak train station. You can also upgrade your rail ticket. I'm going to talk more about that a little later in today's presentation. And you can even add sightseeing tours or upgrade to private tours. Now, I mentioned our maximum flexibility offer, but folks, anytime from right here, right now, whenever you are listening to today's on-demand webinar, any new reservation you make, as long as it's before January 4th of next year, which is only around the corner, all right, January 4th of next year, as long as you deposit, typically deposits are only around $250 US per person, or $250 Canadian per person. As long as you deposit before January 4th of next year to travel anytime next year or anytime in even 2023, once you have deposited, if you did need to change or postpone your trip for whatever the reason is, we are waiving any and all change and cancellation fees, basically allowing each of you to enjoy the freedom to change your dates, duration, or even the destination of your vacation once you are booked. Now, again, we're going to talk more about the train a little later in today's presentation, but I did want to mention, did you know you are allowed 2 free carry-on bags per person and 2 pieces of checked luggage up to 50 pounds per luggage, 50, up to 50 pounds per luggage. And unlike an airline where you may have to arrive anywhere from 2, 3, up to 4 hours before departure, you know you could check in your luggage as close in as 45 minutes before you depart. Now, if you take a look at this map, folks, and you look on the right-hand side, I love that question, where can you travel to by train? But really it should be, where can you not travel to by train? And the reason is, do you know Amtrak travels to 46 out of the 48 states within the continental USA, within the lower 48? In fact, all the red lines that you see right there on the map represent all the different Amtrak trains. The white dots on the red lines represent all the different Amtrak train stations that you can start or end at, okay, or stop at. Over 500 of them. And the light green, the light blue lines that you see in between the red lines, those represent what we call the motor coach throughway service, the bus service that can connect each and every one of you and your friends and family to some of those great destinations where the train may not physically travel to, but you still want to travel to, and we can help you get there. Destinations such as Nashville, Las Vegas, Jackson Hole, Grand Teton, Yellowstone, Yosemite. I could go on, but Amtrak Vacations and/or your local travel advisor can help you with all of your arrangements. But today it's all about the national parks by rail. And I can't think of a better destination to start out with than our #1 most popular national park in the United States. Yes, folks, Glacier National Park. And you ever heard the old saying, location, location, location? That is the train station, folks, located really in the heart of Glacier National Park, and also in a great location as far as your lodge. And this is the most popular lodge, Glacier Park Lodge. It's only about 209 steps away from the Amtrak train station. Now, one thing to keep in mind with Glacier National Park, if this is on your wish list or your bucket list, or maybe you have a special anniversary or birthday coming up, folks, now is the time to book this trip, as we did sell out this year. We sell out every year. All right. And the reason is it's only open in the months of June, July, August, and September. So this is a national park we would refer to as a seasonal national park, meaning it's only open during certain months of the year, which, as I mentioned, June through September is only 4 months. But we got some great packages. This happens to be a nice getaway package, and we can add on rail right from your local Amtrak train station. Pricing that you see in today's presentation is based in double occupancy, so per person, 2 to a room. We do have single rates available, so just let us or your local travel advisor know. Now, as we keep with the national parks theme, how about the Grand Canyon? Do you know the Grand Canyon is considered to be one of the 7 wonders of the world? And what's great about Rails to the Grand Canyon is if any of you are either located in the Western United States or want to visit beautiful Southern California, well, this particular trip happens to be round trip from the great city of Los Angeles, where then you travel into the Grand Canyon and visiting some of these grand national parks. Now, the Grand Canyon, you know, they estimate it's up to 6,000 feet deep in certain areas. And interestingly enough, again, over 7 million visitors just recently back in 2019. So pretty amazing. And if you take a look in the top left-hand corner, this does include round trip rail based in coach seating with the option to upgrade to a sleeper, a private sleeper, which again, I'll talk about a little later in today's presentation. But as you can see, a great value. Also, if I could draw your attention to the map on the right-hand side, the red lines represent the train. The #1 in a red triangle, which as you can see, it's listed twice, just let you know that's an overnight traveling to and from Arizona from Los Angeles. The #2 in a round black circle is the number of nights that you would be in the Grand Canyon. And folks, we have many different lodges, whether it's the Grand Canyon, Glacier National Park, or any of the national parks in the United States, that we can help get space for each and every one of you. And a lot of these lodges, they'll sell out sometimes 1 and 2 years in advance. We are able to get space most of the time. And as I mentioned, lots of options. So if you want to add an extra 1 or 2 nights in the Grand Canyon instead of 2 nights, we can easily help you do that, as well as your local travel advisor. Let's continue on. Moving to my personal favorite train in the United States, and that's the California ZEPHYR. That's the train that goes from Denver, yes, the Mile High City, travels throughout the beautiful Rocky Mountain National Park. And folks, when I talk about a train that literally slices in and outside the mountains, that is the California ZEPHYR. Now, what's great with our trips too, folks, is all of our trips, whether it's with Amtrak Vacations or Rail Bookers, they're all independent style vacations, flexible, independent travel. So what does that mean? On certain days, such as at Rocky Mountain National Park, we do include a locally guided tour, just like we do in Glacier National Park. And in some cases, it could be a half a day, locally guided tour, or it could be a full day. But guess what? Then on another day, you'll have a free day to explore on your own, where you can go back to some of these national parks or visit other great areas as well. By the way, here's a picture of the California Zephyr. And a little fun trivia for all of you. Do you know all the trains that head from Chicago west out to some of these amazing national parks, whether it's Glacier, Grand Canyon, the beautiful Rocky Mountains, and many more, Yellowstone, Yosemite. So many of these trains that head out to the Western United States, they are known as superliner trains. And the reason is they're double-decker trains. They're the largest in the fleet. But again, the Zephyr, what I refer to it as, otherwise known as the California Zephyr, my absolute favorite long-distance iconic train in the fleet of Amtrak trains. By the way, did I mention this trip also includes Glenwood Springs? So just a great getaway, a great Colorado Rockies adventure. 5 days, 4 nights. Again, 2 nights in Denver, 2 nights in Glenwood Springs. And as you can see, it's train travel during the day. You don't see a number 1 or a number 2 in a red triangle, and that's because you travel during the day. Now, moving on to another fantastic and certainly iconic national park, Yellowstone. Now, this one also happens to include the Grand Tetons. But what's nice with this one is for any of you that want to visit Chicago, you have the opportunity. Home of the deep dish pizza, home of Wrigley Field, where the Chicago Cubs play, home of the famous Second City Comedy Club. In this picture, what you're looking at is up at the top of Willis Tower, which was formerly the Sears Tower, overlooking the great city of Chicago. And speaking of great cities, the first city that you travel to once you depart Union Station in Chicago is Salt Lake City, which I refer to as the gateway to some of the most iconic, beautiful national parks. And here's one of the first ones, the Grand Teton. Now, on some of our packages, folks, the trains do not physically travel to some of these national parks. And this is where we include our motor coach throughway service, our bus service, to bring you to and from these national parks. Now, we do also have the option, if you choose, to self-drive. We have car rentals as well, if any of you would also prefer to travel on your own to some of these national parks. My own personal favorite national park, you are looking at it, Yellowstone, the first national park in the United States and one of the largest. You know, if you take the states of Rhode Island and Delaware and combine both of those states, they're smaller than Yellowstone National Park, which is pretty amazing. 7 days, 6 nights, again, a great value. And as you can see too, it starts in one great city, such as the city of Chicago, and ends in another. Now, if any of you do not like to fly, again, we can start you right from your local Amtrak train station, or your local travel advisor can as well. Or certainly if you don't mind flying, you can book flights on your own, or your local travel advisor can book flights. We do not book flights here at Amtrak Vacations, so however you prefer. But this is a fantastic package where you do get an overnight on board the Zephyr, as well as multiple overnights in some of these great cities and parks. And one of the last trips I want to highlight before we talk about the seating and sleeping accommodations is our Grand Rail experience. Now, this is a great package, folks, where, again, you're starting in the great city of Chicago. And I should mention, any of our packages can start or end wherever you would like. These are just some sample packages. So again, this one happens to start and end in the great city of Chicago, but it could start and end wherever you are located in the United States. Now, on this package, it not only starts and ends in the great city of Chicago, but it visits Seattle, all right? Home of the Space Needle, home of the first Starbucks that ever opened up back in 1971. It visits beautiful Southern California, Los Angeles, home of Hollywood, home of Beverly Hills, one of my personal favorite cities in all of the United States, New Orleans, otherwise known as New Orleans. Great nightlife, great cuisine, Cajun style. All right, has a strong French and Spanish influence, not only with its cuisine, but its architecture. Great music, jazz, blues, rock and roll. This also visits our nation's capital as well, Washington, D.C. So for any of you that want to see more of the United States, and as I mentioned in so many presentations that I've done over the last year and a half, there is not a better time to see more of our own backyard. than right here, right now. And to be able to travel by train is such a great way to do it, where you don't have to worry about driving, watching signs, dealing with traffic. You can sit back, relax, and enjoy the scenery along the journey. Now, for any of you traveling in the near future, facial coverings and/or masks would be required until further notice. But I want you to take a look at the seat right here, the coach accommodations. What you'll notice is there's two extra large seats on one side and there's two extra large seats on the other. So here's a big highlight, folks. There are no middle seats on board the trains. Let me repeat that. There are no middle seats. So unlike an airplane where you could potentially get put in a middle seat, you don't have to worry about that. As you can see, lots of leg room. There is outlets at every seat that you can charge your iPhone, your mobile device, your laptop, your iPad. Also, plenty of space above the overhead to store any of your carry-on bags. But certainly for any of you that have the national parks on your wish list or bucket list, or you have a special anniversary or birthday coming up, and you have the opportunity to travel overnight on board the train, well, let's talk about the great benefits of when you upgrade to sleepers. Did you know you have your own dedicated car attendant, plus included toiletries, bottled water, and coffee? You also have your own privacy door that can lock from the inside. And folks, when that door is closed and those curtains are closed, guess what? If you would like to take off your facial covering or mask, you have the option to do that if you choose from the privacy of your own room. It's as if you are in your own hotel room. Again, totally optional, up to you once that door is closed and those curtains are closed. When you're out in the open area, of course, those facial coverings and masks do need to be on until further notice. Did you also know when you upgrade to a private sleeper, all of your meals are included, folks, from the city you depart from until the city you arrive in? And that's a great highlight. In fact, all the trains in the eastern United States, from Chicago east out to Boston, New York, DC, down to Florida, you can even have your meals delivered right to your own private sleepers. They have what's called flexible dining, allowing you to order hot, fresh items off the menu for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Now, for any of you that want to head out to these beautiful and majestic national parks in the western United States, well, guess what, folks? Recently, a few months back, Amtrak reinstated traditional dining service, and it's on trains such as the California ZEPHYR. Again, that's the train that travels through the great city of Denver, Salt Lake City, out to San Francisco. It's also on trains such as the Empire Builder. That's the train that goes out to Glacier National Park, or the Southwest Chief, which brings you into Arizona, the gateway of the Grand Canyon. Those iconic long distance trains now have traditional dining service back in place, where you can sit down, meet fellow travelers along your journey, order right from the menu for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you have your own private Amtrak attendant, waiter, waitress serving you for your meals along the way. Just an awesome experience. Now, what you're looking at right here, folks, let's talk about sleepers for a minute. This is the most popular and the most affordable sleeping category of any sleepers on board the train. This is a roomette. And as I mentioned, once that door is closed and those curtains are closed, folks, if you want to take off your facial covering or mask, you absolutely have the option to do that if you choose. As you can see, you can sit back, relax, enjoy the sight, scenery, sounds along the journey, maybe read a book, listen to a little music. In the evening, the Amtrak attendant is also available to help with turn down service. Let me show you a large diagram of what a roomette looks like. As you can see, it's bunk bed style. Now, what you do not see inside of a roomette is its own private toilet, shower, and vanity. And the reason is we have what we call private restroom access, private shower access. And all that means is right down the hall, just like any of you would have at your own homes, we have private yet shared toilets and showers. And the only people that can use them are only people that are booked in sleepers. Now, you know yourselves the best. If you want your own private toilet, shower, and vanity inside of your room, then consider upgrading one more level, and that is a bedroom. Bedrooms, as you can see in the diagram, do have its own private toilet, shower, and vanity inside the room. And as you can see in this picture, it's also larger in size. What's nice is on some of our trains, you can even request to have adjoining bedrooms. Not all the trains, but some of the trains you can have the option to have 2 bedrooms side by side where you can open up the door in the middle and you and your friends and family can go back and forth between the 2 rooms. So definitely ask a rail expert or your local travel advisor to tell you more. I will mention if anybody needs an accessible bedroom, those are also available on a limited basis, but available. Folks, where can you travel to by train? It's really up to you. We have daily departures and in some cases, multiple departures daily, certainly throughout some of the major cities in the United States. Any trips, again, can be as long or as short as you would like. Any trips can be customized and we got great packages all put together that can easily be personalized just for you. Now, I did want to mention too, before we conclude today's on-demand pre-recorded webinar, any of you that are traveling with your children or grandchildren, if they are between the ages of 2 and 12, do you know they can get up to 50% off the rail ticket, 50% off the cost of the rail ticket within a package? Now, that is based in coach seating. In fact, all these discounts are based in coach seating. Any of you that are 65 or older, you can qualify for up to 10% off on the rail portion of your trip. Any active duty military, you, your spouses, and dependents can also qualify for 10% off. And by the way, thank you for your service. So folks, any questions that you have, any of you that want to pick up that phone and book and plan your rail vacation of a lifetime, well, that phone number is listed right there in the bottom left-hand corner. As I mentioned, again, we are open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can certainly visit us online or contact your local travel advisor who can book any of these exciting trips for you, including even your flights. If you want to fly one way or round trip, you get to decide. On behalf of Amtrak Vacations, folks, I hope you enjoyed today's on-demand pre-recorded webinar, and we look forward to having you, your friends, and family on board soon. Take care. Bye-bye.